I'm already thinking about the next meal. All right, let's start. We're actually going to start a little different. We're going to start standing at the top of the mat. First, we're going to forward fold, which is not always the most forgiving thing. So separate your feet as wide as they need to go. Bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees a lot, and then start to come down. When you come down, I want you to tense your fingertips kind of out in front of you a little. So your elbows point towards the side, and then let your head go. A couple things can happen here to make it a little bit more comfortable is you can slide blocks underneath your hands. You can place a block in between your thighs if you feel like that's going to kind of help a little bit. Let your head go and just connect to the breath. Yeah, so it could be a little forward fold, it could be deeper. Your knees can be super bent, but the goal is to allow your body just to drop down. Move the weight forward into the balls of the feet, spread the toes wide. And if you feel kind of annoyed by the slowing down aspect of this, yeah, which, listen, hey, I relate to that wholeheartedly. Just kind of go inward a little or outward, either way. Breathe into the back side of your body, draw your belly in. Lift your hips up and shift more weight forward. Stay with this a little longer. Let the head just be as heavy as you can. Slide your hands to your hips, come halfway up, bend your knees, come the rest of the way up. You might have a little bit of a head rush. Yeah. So stand for a second. Bring your feet a little bit closer together. Stand on your left leg, bend your right leg up into Virasana. I just made that up. Tree pose. Let's go with that. Tree pose. Yeah, and I like to try and sometimes do this early because it tests the balance. So you probably feel like you're all over the place. That's the point. Pick one spot and start to hone in. Slide your arms up, let the branches of the trees grow. Grip your hips in strong. Lift your waist up. Spread your collarbone and your chest. Anchor the left leg more. Contract the quadricep. Last 3 breaths, close your eyes. Worst thing that happens is you fall. Yep, hands to prayer, step down. Good, slide your left leg up now, tree pose. So if the foot doesn't go all the way up, it can always be lower down, right? And it's kind of neat because you check in and you see how off you are at the start of the practice. How bad shape we're all in. Yeah, hands in prayer and just ground. Anticipate always falling out. That's just kind of what happens. Grip the hips in. Grow the branches of the tree if you feel that you can sustain. Maybe look up a little with your eyes. Wiggling a little through it. Draw the belly in. Stay with it. Quiet mind. Close your eyes, last couple breaths, see what happens. Hands to prayer, step down. Feet hips width distance. Reach your arms out and up or straight up. Look up a little with your eyes. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let the head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare. Plant your palms and step to a dog. Yeah, step back to your first dog. Rather than just stepping to a plank, step to your first dog. Bend behind your knees as much as you need. Perfect. Spread your toes wide. By spreading the toes, it's actually going to stretch your shins, which is kind of nice. And then you may get a little bit more give, I like to call it, through the back side of the legs. So your knees may not need to stay bent the entire time, or they may need to. Continue to breathe your hips up off your shoulders, plug down. So your thumb, your index finger, your baby finger. There's a wrapping of your outer triceps and a movement of your shoulders away from you. These look great. Plank position, roll forward. Yeah. Good, drop your knees if you need to, bend your elbows in half to a version of chaturanga, or just hold plank. Re-straighten your arms to a plank position, keep your arms straight, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let the head go. Roll forward to a plank. So it could be a micro bend, you can drop your knees, a version of a chaturanga. I'm just doing these little push-ups right now still, yeah. Re-straighten your arms, draw your core up, arms straight, hips up and back, down dog. You don't even have to lower in the push-up, you can just hold. Roll forward again, plank. So your quadriceps engage, your belly draws in, and you lead with your chest. Bend your elbows a little bit or a lot, but a lot's no more than halfway. Re-straighten your arms to a plank. Arms are straight, hips up and back, dog. One more time, roll forward, plank position. We gotta kind of get out of our own way. Yeah, bend our elbows in half to a version of chaturanga. Lead with your heart and chest for a version of up dog or baby cobra. Oh, yeah, hips up and back, downward facing dog. We may experience some hot yoga out here. The humidity level is super high today. I went for a run, it kind of looked like I peed my pants, yeah. Look to the top of the towel, step or float your feet through. I was like, oh, we shouldn't wear those pants again. Long spine, it's like the people wear white yoga pants. I never got it. Exhale, fold. I'm like, really? Root to rise, come all the way up. Maybe after you have 3 kids, you're like, okay, we're gonna dump the white. Hands to prayer, drop your arms. And even wearing white jeans, I'm like, this is daring. Arms reach up, dive over, bent knees, forward fold. Let your head just be free and let it go. Long spine sets you up. Step or float. I'm kind of over floating. What is floating? Chaturanga. Upward facing. Hips up and back, downward facing. So it's really important to keep in mind that your vinyasa flow, your down dog, your plank, your chaturanga, your up dog is individualized. So make it work for you. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top or crawl. Long spine. Fold again. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Keep going like this. Arms reach up. Dive over those bent legs, forward fold. Let the head go and the weight move forward. Long spine to set you up. Step or float through your version of a vinyasa. So it could just be stepping back to a dog and be happy with that. Hips up and back, downward facing. I think Sasha was beading out here. I'm finding beads. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top. Long spine. Fold again. Root to rise once again, all the way up. Drag it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Keep going. Stretch the arms up. Dive again over bent knees. Forward fold. Let the head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare. Step or float through your vinyasa. Up dog is smooth. Nice, Dara. Hips up and back, downward facing. Bring your feet together at the back of the mat. Yes, so get them side by side. Bring your left hand out an inch further. Roll into a Vashisthasana side plank. I've been taking my modified. I'll show you what I'm doing. This works great. I kind of tempt the fingertip. Yeah, to get out of the shoulder blade, you can play with it. The right leg, Meredith, can stay down. It can ground you, or you can lift it up. Just see how that feels in your back. Top arm up. The more traditional way to take side plank is to stack the 2 feet. Maria's got it going on. Nice, Lauren. I like the top foot staggered. Beautiful, Sarah. Lift from your top hip and your bottom hip. Stack the 2 arms on top of one another. And breathe your chest open. Yeah. Last little bit of it is see if you can look up or look sideways. Look down, plank position. Pause and plank. Hug your right knee towards your navel. So if you need it to be a little bit more forgiving, lift your hips up a little bit higher and make it more of the shape of a dog. Yeah, arms are straight up and down. Either way you're doing this. Squeeze into the center line of your body. And then look forward with your eyes and land your right foot all the way forward and through. Let's tent the left fingertips right here. I've been using a block underneath the shoulder just to kind of bring the floor up, and the right arm opens. Yeah, and you can take the block, the highest level is going to be the most forgiving. What we're looking for is the shape in our legs. So even if having the arm straight up kind of feels like it takes you out, like this doesn't feel that great to me this morning, my right hand will just slide to the flat part of the back, and I'm really just creating a strong shape. Everyone's shapes are going to look a little different because we're all different people. That makes the process and the practice more interesting. Grip your right hip in strong. Activate your left leg. And twist open. Yeah, right there is fine, Lauren. If you feel like bringing that arm up hurts the neck, then just don't do it. Are you breathing or are you just suffering? Look down, place both hands down to frame your front foot. Keep the shape of the legs, don't move it at all. Grip your right hip in strong. Activate your back leg. Reach your arms back like a set of wings. Press strong through your feet and your legs, get heavy, and then sweep your arms out and up, crescent lunge. Steer your hips forward. Bend deep into the standing right thigh, not the knee, and activate the back leg as much as you can. Yeah. Look up a little with your eyes. If you'd like, you can clasp your hands like this and press to the insteps of the palms and see if you can grow your chest a little higher. Separate your hands. Bring it to the floor to a plank position. Pause. Hold plank. Hold plank. Bend your elbows in half and see if you can hold chaturanga. If this is unavailable, just hold plank. Lead with the heart and chest for a smooth, steady up dog. Hold the up dog. Legs are strong. Hands press firm. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Bring your feet together at the back of the mat. Lean onto the right hand. The right has to come forward like an inch and then roll to the outer blade. And although this is my good side, I like to recreate the same thing. Try and tent the fingertip, Meredith, and see if that creates more of a lift. Yes, perfect. Think of your right tricep. Grip it in. Yeah. So modifications aren't for just being injured. Modifications are there because sometimes the body just needs the support. Sometimes the mind needs the support. Sometimes both. Sometimes you just want to work less. Stay with it. Another big breath. Look to the floor. Revisit your plank. Hug your left knee in. And if you need to be a little more forgiving, lift your hips up a little higher and create more of a shape of a dog. Arms are nice and straight, up and down. Keep looking forward if you can. Land your left foot forward and through in a low lunge. Tense your right fingertips. A block is useful. Left arm can peel. So we want our shoulder blade to slide into the socket. So what I find for most of us, because we run, we cycle, we play tennis, we walk, right, our shoulders go inward. So stack the shoulder blade so it sets itself up. Slide the hand here first. Grip the hips in strong and be okay with hanging here. Yeah. And the movement of the ribs is just a little bit. Yeah, the twist is subtle. The breath is active. You can be in the pose just a little bit, but be breathing really intently. Good, look down, place both hands down, pause, keep the strong shape of your legs, grip the hips in, activate the back leg, reach your arms back like a set of wings. This is where you kind of feel a little burn, baby, burn, right. Squeezing of the shoulder blades, hands face down, yeah. Integrate the legs and then come up, crescent lunge. Your least favorite. Hip points forward, back leg strong. Dive deep into the thigh. So what we want to avoid doing is sitting into the kneecap. Interlace the hands and press the insides of the palms open. I like this because you can really grow like upward. And just check in that you're not jutting your chin forward or tucking it in. It's just nice and neutral. Lift a little higher. Hands separate. Good. Bring them down to the floor. Plank position. Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Be smooth here. Be steady. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top. Long spine. Fold. Sit deep into chair. Weight goes into your heels. You can take chair with your feet separated a little or together. Anything goes. Hands can be in prayer and chair too. Press up to stand up. Top of mat. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. All right, here we go. Take it on. Chair pose. Stick your butt back. Yeah, so your arms can be straight up. They can be open, super wide. They could be cactus. Your hands could be on your hips. You could just kind of be gripping your shoulder blades together. Dive over those bent legs, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare. Step or float through your vinyasa. Upward facing. Hips up and back, downward facing. So we're gonna take crescent lunge today. Right foot forward. Back heel stays lifted. Come on up. No, you can always drop your knee. There's nothing wrong with that. Hands come down, vinyasa or right to a dog. Up dog. Hips up and back, down dog. Left foot forward, back heel lifts. Crescent, come on up. Back down we go, together as a group. Dara, you're looking good over there. Up dog. Hips up and back, down dog. Allow your mind to shut off. It is possible. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top. Long spine. Fold. Sit again into chair. Press all the way up to stand. Drag it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Anyone sweating it? Here we go. Chair pose. Bring it on. There's a pool behind you. You could do a lap and come back. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Long spine, prepare. Step or float through your vinyasa. Upward facing, smooth transition. Hips up and back, downward facing. All right, we're gonna go with it now. Right foot forward, crescent lunge. Back down we go. You can just step to a dog if it's too much. From your down dog, left foot lands, back heel stays lifted. Bring it up. Back down we go. And just pause in your down dog and be still. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top. Long spine right here. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Press up to stand up. Drag it to prayer. Drop your arms. I know we're having fun. Arms reach up. Chair. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let the head go. Long spine to set you up. Step or float through your vinyasa. Good. Drag your chest through. When you get to your down dog, land your right foot forward, crescent lunge. Back down you go. So I'm just taking out the vinyasas and just going right to a dog, and that is fine. Left foot lands, back heel lifted. Come on up, crescent. Back down we go, vinyasa or not. You got it. Anchor the legs, Laura. Hips up and back, down dog. Stay with it, guys. Plug down with your hands. Your arms are super straight. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top. Long spine, keep your weight forward. Exhale, fold. Sit again into chair. Weight moves into your heels. Yeah, if you're cactusing, there's a squeezing of your shoulder blades, so you can really open up the upper thoracic. Press up to stand up, drag it to prayer at heart, and drop your arms. Let your arms go. One more, chair pose. Here we go. Stick the tush back. Move the weight into your heels. Let your shins drift back. Dive over the bent legs, forward fold. Long spine to prepare you. Step or float through your vinyasa. Upward facing slides you through. Legs are strong. Hips up and back, down dog. So right foot's gonna step. We're gonna come to a crescent and pause. Yeah. So crescent pose and pause. Wrap your left arm underneath your right arm. So you're gonna eagle your arms. If this doesn't feel good, you can just give yourself a bear hug, or hands can be in prayer. Good. So the trick is to bend deep into the standing right leg and make the transition smooth, wrap it around. Sometimes it's a bust, but the goal is to really sit. So bend your right leg even more. Yeah, and wrap that thigh around, even if the foot doesn't get all the way around. Fix your eyes on something that's not moving. We're gonna have a little fun. Why not? Most of you have blocks at the top, so if you need them. So as you unravel, you're unraveling to a warrior three. Do it slow, your arms go back. You have to bend your standing leg and keep your hips squared. Good, you can always use a block and place your hand down in the center if the balance is a little off, like mine. Yeah. Giant step back, warrior one. Take a second to do it. Sometimes the stance gets a little off, so bigger and longer. Walk the right foot over. Yeah, you did it. We're working on proprioception, so as we get a little older, we can keep ourselves together. Yeah. Left ribs, slide them forward towards the house. Meredith, walk your right foot more to the right. Yeah, perfect. And steer the left ribs forward. Sit deeper into your front right thigh. Outer blade of your back left foot secures the pose. One more time, interlace the hands. Lift the insides of the palms up. So see what you can find when you lift through your waist, if you can get a little heavier in the lower half of the body. And the left ribs, steer them a little bit more forward. Separate the hands, bring it to the floor through a vinyasa, or just go to a down dog. When you arrive, the left foot lands, the back heel lifts, crescent lunge, come on up. So you get hold of ourselves. Wrap the right arm under. If you think you mixed it up, just wrap the arm that you didn't do, or bring the hands to prayer, just pray. Bend deep into the standing left thigh. And here we go, let's wrap it around. So even if you have your toe down like this, kind of like a curtsy, you wouldn't want to see me curtsy. Yeah. Steer the hips back, lift the chest up, and just work on your alignment. Squeeze it all tightly or down the center line. Think about a lot with your standing left leg and fly through a warrior three. See if you can make the transition smooth. I like to open up the arms and unravel the eagle arms. Yeah, so I can broaden the upper torso and the chest. You can always bring your hands down to the blocks. Your chest is a little higher. The right thigh is pivoted towards the ground. Make your transition slow and deliberate, warrior one. So think about the shape and then step back. Your back foot's on an angle and then your arms wrap up. Get a little heavier in your front left thigh and anchor the outer blade of your back foot. Interlace your hands opposite of what you did before. If you can remember, lift up out of your waist. So see if you can find from your hip points the energy to create upward, and then a little bit more of that energy moving your lower half of the body downward. Your right ribs pivot towards the front skinny edge of the back. Separate your hands, bring it to the floor through a vinyasa. Down dog is fine. Take a couple breaths, get yourself back on your mat if you've kind of gone elsewhere. Step your right foot smack in between your hands, turn your back foot on a strong angle, and cartwheel open to a warrior two. Yes, everyone's gonna face towards the table. Yeah, make sure your stance is long enough and wide enough. Your right knee tracks over your right ankle. The left toes have a strong angle, so turn your left toes more towards me. Yeah. That helps. And then your arms go nice and wide. So it's an external rotation, which means the inside of your right thigh rolls to the outer blade of your right baby toe. Yeah. And your whole ribs are facing towards the grill table, that direction. Yeah. And then I need you just to close your eyes right here, just a few breaths, and just feel the effects of the pose. It is pretty powerful. Eyes blink open, right arm rests on the top of your right thigh. Grip your right hip in strong, slide the left arm straight up or up and forward if you want to go for the full deal here. Yeah, you're going to turn from your bicep down. That's exactly it. Grip the right hip in strong, turn your bottom ribs. Yeah. And see if you can make the pose like you're holding a strong posture, but make it feel light in your body. Good, take the top arm, circle it in front of your face and pull back out without any bounce to a warrior two. Drive down into the mat, then look forward and take it to the floor through a vinyasa, or simply just step to a dog and be there. When you get to your down dog, your left foot lands, your back foot turns. So you set your feet up immediately here. So when you get up, you're already in the posture. You don't have to do too much. That's the goal. Yeah. And just reminding you, your inner left thigh rolls open. Your whole torso is now facing towards the movie screen. Yeah. And your arms open nice and wide. Sit deeper into your front thigh. We're getting sweaty here. You're going to feel great when this is over. Fierce stance, but even better, more powerful breath, because the breath is what's securing the posture. So try not to fight it. Half the battle is not fighting it. Allow it in. Broaden your collarbone. Let your throat get a little more open. You will be okay. Flip the palm, reverse your warrior for a moment. Yes, now try and rest your arm on the top of the thigh. See if that's felt any better to you, getting in that way. May or may not work. Top arm reaches straight up or up and over. I'm just going straight up. Okay, so make sure your neck is not jutting in, Maria. Yes, perfect. Grip your left hip under you and turn your bottom ribs, which are so hard. All those things are hard to do. Strong legs. Powerful breath, warrior two. Take it to the floor through a vinyasa or omit. Upward facing. Hips up and back, downward facing. Right foot lands, back foot turns, circle open, warrior two. So you pick what feels better. If you want to just drop right into the extended side angle, modified, or if you want to flip your palm and reverse it. So you have to decide what feels better for your low back. Right arm then rests on the top of the right thigh. Left arm stretches straight up or up and over. Top arm pulls you back up to your warrior two. Look forward and take it down through a vinyasa or right to a dog. Left foot lands on your own breath and your own count. Warrior two, cartwheel open. Flip the palm if it feels good for you, right? Reverse it, and then modified extended. You could just go right here too. Soften the shoulder, grip your hip in. This is the hardest part for us, Lauren, is to grip your left hip in. Lead with the top arm, warrior two. Try to take the bounce out. Down we go. Vinyasa or right to dog. Third time's the charm. Right foot forward, back foot turns. Warrior two, come on up. Flip the palm, reverse. Rest your arm on your thigh or slide your hand to the outside of your foot. Yeah, so the outside of the foot to a block may be where you want to go. Yeah. And I'm even going, Lauren, up super high. On the go outside, place it its highest setting, grip your right hip underneath you, and just let the left arm stretch straight up or up and over. 3 more breaths. Warrior two, take the bounce out. To the floor we go, vinyasa or right to a dog. Hang with it. Left foot forward, back foot turns. Warrior two, circle open. So the body's starting to say, okay, I know what's up now. The mind might not like it, but the body's like, okay. Flip the palm, reverse. You might be annoyed by me. Arm to thigh or hand, it can go to the outside of the foot. Yeah, grip the hip in. Go outside of the foot for this one, Sarah, because it's gonna get a different spot in your hip. Right arm can stretch straight up or go up and forward. That looks good. Turn your bottom ribs, Maria, towards my mom. And use the strength of your back right leg. Get a little heavier in your front thigh. Strong legs, fierce breath, warrior two, pull it up. To the floor we go through a vinyasa. Meet me in a down dog. When you get to your down dog, step your right foot again forward, smack in between your hands. Turn your back foot strong, and from the ground up, we're gonna work to a triangle. Thank gosh. Yeah. So you gotta play with your stance here. Sometimes a little wider feels better for some. Sometimes a little tighter and closer feels better, but your hips are squared towards the picnic table. The picnic table, yeah. I look at it and it looks like a picnic table. Good. Block is at placing the outside of your calf if you're gonna use a block. And hey, listen, if your lower back is really sensitive this morning or your hamstrings feel really tight and aren't opening, your hand could be up really high. You could even rest it on the top of your thigh. So now it's kind of nice sometimes to take your left arm and wrap it around you and take a half bind. Only do this if it feels good. If not, just stay with what we're doing. Yeah, there's a little leaning back feeling, but mostly your obliques are keeping you lifted. Your inner and outer thighs are keeping you stable, and your breath is flowing. So same goal. Open your throat, open your chest, turn your bottom ribs a little up. Keep the half bind or dump it if you don't need it. Float to a half moon. So your hand can just go to your hip. So I've been doing this, Lauren. I don't know how the shoulder feels, but the arm can just be straight. Yeah. Yeah, soften behind your right knee and grip your right hip in strong. Nice work. And you got to kind of fiddle with where the block should be off the edge of that right baby toe. Everyone's got a little bit of a different reach point. Yeah. If you have the half bind and you really want to challenge yourself today, don't bind the top foot. I want you to start to lift your bottom hand from the block and see if you can clasp your hands behind your back and turn your bottom ribs. Yes, it's more of a bind with your hands and then spin your ribs, lift your inner thigh and flex your toes. Right hand down, left arm up. Look to the floor, square your hips, step your feet together or a little separated depending on you. Sit into a chair pose right here. It's almost like you just have to get this out of the way. Stick your butt back, slide your hands into a prayer and twist to the right. So you're gonna twist towards me. Lower back issues, anything with neck, shoulder joints, stay up higher and just work on your alignment. Honestly, this is gonna be more supportive in the body. If you're healthy and strong and you feel you're healthy and strong regardless, but if you feel healthy and strong and you can get a little deeper into the joint, that's a better way to do it. Hook the elbow, but watch the knees because the second that the left side of the body starts to wrap forward, the pose is over. Weight is in your heels. Spine is long. Chair pose. You're like waiting for me to say it. You're like, now would be your call. Chair pose. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. You could set up for a crow here. It would be kind of nice to do that, or squat malasana, which I'll demonstrate. So like I'll pick the poses I'm doing today on the amount of energy that needs to go out. Squat pose seems manageable. Feet go wide. Now crow, feet come together, big toes, remember Meredith, come together first. Yes, bring your big toes together, Sarah, before you even go. There you go. Your knees walk up the back sides of your arms and then you hover. You don't even need to get your big toes up off the ground. You can just hover them to the floor. Great work. Scoop out your belly, round your spine, look forward with your eyes. Just kind of chill right here. Step or float through your vinyasa. Just don't knock your teeth out. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Listen, after doing this for 20 years, I've seen everything. Yeah. Land your left foot forward, smack in between your hands. Turn your back foot strong and set up from the ground up into a triangle pose. And if you need to come up and reset, so if you feel like you're better off like coming up, reset. Remember your whole torso is facing towards the movie screen. Your arms are open nice and wide, and then you pivot. Have the right arm straight up. Yeah, straight up so the shoulders are stacked like they're in a side plank. Have the palm facing the sofa. There you go. Little bend behind that standing leg. Top arm can wrap around for the half bind, only if that feels good. Stay with it. Before you pop up into the next thing, press through the padded part of your feet and lift up your toes on both feet. See if you feel more from your inside and the outsides of your thighs, and lift your obliques up more. Then replant the toes back down. Grip the left hip in strong, look down, and seamlessly move into your version of Ardha Chandrasana. Ardha Chandrasana can even be going against a wall and leaning against something if you want. So pop up, your block moves out in front of you enough, and your hand can slide to your hip. And then you're trying to rotate your whole body, right? Lift from your inner thigh, the top leg, and maybe lighten the load of your bottom hand. And if you're in the half bind, stay. Maybe you want to work on bringing your bottom hand up and clasping. You can clasp your hands behind your back. You can grab opposite elbows. The one hand can stay clasped. The other hand can come to a prayer. You can just stay as you are too. Keep breathing. Lift from your inner thigh. Release the top arm. Keep the leg lifted. Then look down with your eyes. Square off your hips. Step your feet together or a little separated. Sit one more time into a chair pose. Hands slide to a prayer. Inhale your breath. Hook the elbow and turn the other direction to the left. You can air twist if getting in there does not feel good. Weight is in your heels. Pay attention to your right knee, that it's not sliding past your left. Chair pose, strong in your legs. Press up to stand up, drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms, stand for a minute, close your eyes. So we started the practice. Round your left leg, bring your top leg up into a tree, bring your hands to prayer. Come back to it. So before we move on, right leg bends up into a tree, left leg rounds. Arms reach up, sweep them up nice and high. Recheck in, grip your hips in, allow your eyes to blink closed, even if it's just for a millisecond. Isn't that something? Blink your eyes open, keep reaching your arms up, yeah. Hands to prayer, step down. Wow, see, that's pretty amazing. Stand on your right leg, bring your bend your left leg up. It's good to feel a little progress as you move through, right? That your balance is kind of finding itself. Hands to prayer, grip the hips in. Just grow your branches, how it feels good. Stand tall. Maybe close your eyes. Maybe it's just half closed. Maybe it's a new drishti. One side may be better than the other. Eyes open, hands to prayer, drop down. Feet hips width distance, keep your right leg where it is and slide your left leg back. Yeah, be at the top of the mat, perfect. Right hand on your hip, left arm extends up. Let's find a lot of extension through this back leg this morning. Come halfway down, use your right hand and literally move your hip back towards the pool and then keep reaching and then your hand will come down to the shin or a block and the block can go any direction that works for you. Right hand then slides to the flat part of your back. Draw your navel in, lengthen your spine and look to the right. Activate your legs. Your legs are kind of the power of this pose. Engage around the left kneecap. That's where a lot of good stuff is going to happen. You may find you're able to open your right arm up. And if you're not, don't beat yourself up over it. Stay with it. Look down, both hands frame your right foot. So kind of like we started, tense your fingertips, bend your right leg, and then fold over your right leg, let your head go and lift your left leg up. So it looks like this. Let the head fall. So don't open your hip, just lift the leg. So you're kind of draping into this version of standing split. Yeah, but bend your knee more, Maria, so you make a connection between your stomach and your thigh, and your hands are tented. You can slide blocks underneath them too. Breathe from your inner left thigh up. Let your head, your neck, your shoulders drop down. That is perfect, Meredith. Now, all you need to do is create some space away from your leg, come to your fingertips like a half lift, then take a giant step back into a lunge. Everybody drop their knee. Drop the knee for a second, keep the toes curled, and then sweep up, crescent lunge. Yeah, hands come to prayer. Inhale the breath, hook the elbow, take it to the right. Slide the kneecap back a little bit, Meredith, so you're more in an angle, and just stay upright like this. Good, so once you get here and you're like, Lauren, same thing for you, slide the kneecap back. So see how my thigh is more in an angle? That's gonna get into your psoas, which is gonna be a really fun experience. Yeah. So once you're here and you're like, okay, I'm doing the posture, I feel like I can take on a little bit more, the back knee can lift up. So it's up to you. You may be very happy with where you are and stay here. You're gonna lean back a little bit, get in there, because the crown of the head's gonna line up with the back heel. Open up your arms if you want more. Grip your hips in strong. Stay with it. Just be like this, Meredith. Just be like this. It hurts your lower back. Look to the floor, place both hands down. Let's do this. Let's slide the right leg up and through to a three-legged down dog. Yeah. Look forward and swing your right knee forward for a half pigeon. Yeah, and release this side. That feels wonderful. Oh boy. So Lauren, you know a good way to start the half. This is good to just remember. Dara, this is good for your at-home kids too. Curl the left toes under from a tabletop position. And then slide your right knee towards your wrist, your right wrist. See how you immediately, yes. And that kind of gives you an idea. See, my toes are curled. And then I start to lower down. And this is where you say, okay, I may need a block or something underneath my right side so I don't drop. Like this. Okay, there you go. Now what you can do is curl this toes, and that's gonna just give you a little bit of security. There you go. That's a good one. Stay with it, guys. Yep, that's exactly where you want to put the block. Because you don't want to be in these poses and be like, okay, I'm counting down the seconds. Then it's not right. Use the strength of your body, come up, lean onto the right side, and let's swing the left leg forward and make a tree. Okay, yeah. You may need to open your hip up a little bit. Good, so first we'll do this. The block's gonna go on the inside because my arm never hits. If you can hook the toe, you may be able to do this without the block. Your elbow straight down. Maria, you probably don't need the block. Yeah, so just play with this. Right arm's gonna wrap up and then come up and forward. So it's gonna look like this. I'm only suggesting the block here if you feel like it's gonna take you a little further into the pose and be in less agony. But if not, the arm is down in the inside of the leg. You're hooking the toe and then the top arm's reaching up. So my more flexible people are gonna be able to gather their hands and connect. That's not happening for me. That is great, but I would rather you turn your bottom ribs, even have your hand behind your head and lean back more towards Meredith. Just keep the arm straight up, have the hand down, be very upright. Flex the foot strong. There you go. Pull up to center, pause. This one gets you every time and you will be sore from it in your obliques. It's like the only pose, right? Right hand's gonna go behind you. We're gonna go up into a sail pose. The palms facing the back edge of the mat. It looks like this. So your leg's gonna have to slide forward a little bit more. You're gonna press up out of your waist. Yes, it's a back bend. Top arm's gonna wrap up and back. Good, turn your left leg, your left foot, Sarah, more towards me. Yes, and ground the toes, there you go. So very slowly exhale your breath and start to lower. Good. Come forward, there's no pretty way. Just step to a down dog and move through a vinyasa one more time here. So up dog, down dog. And then look to the top, the mat, step or float your feet there. Long spine on an inhale, separate your feet so they're hips width distance. Bring your hands on your hips, pull yourself up to stand. Okay, so last time, left foot is forward, right foot steps back about 3 feet, both hands on your hips. Yeah, left hand on your hip, right arm extends up. Take a smaller step, Meredith, if you can. Inhale the breath, come halfway down. Use your left hand and to kind of encourage the hip to come back. Hand comes to the front of the shin. I immediately go for a block. Hand to the flat part of your back to check in with your alignment. The steering of the pose comes from the legs and the hips. Hand stays here. And then you just start to look left a little bit. So the dimension of creating space right here, the top arm can slide straight up only if that's available for the neck and the shoulder. Meredith, you can look more down or neutral and it may take a little pressure off. Yeah, and definitely focus on softening a little behind your front knee. The back leg is strong and straight, but the front leg has a little bend to it. You got it. Steer with your hips. Two more. Look down, place both hands down. So tent the fingertips out to the side a little, like you're clawing the mat. Bend your left leg and let your right leg pop up. So it's almost like, I call this like almost like a geriatric forward fold, because you're doing it so deliberately that you're really feeling your body aligning. Your head's hanging soft and you're not at all going for how deep am I going? No one cares. Breathe your inner thigh up, flex the foot, soften the shoulders, and create space. Long spine, just draw like you're lengthening in a forward fold here. Yeah, take a giant step back into a lunge. Drop the back knee. Good, so the knee's on an angle. Remind yourself, you want it on an angle, you can slide something underneath if it doesn't feel great. Sweep your arms up. Hands come to prayer. Inhale that breath, hook the elbow, and take it the other direction. Just stay very upright. So Meredith, if it's really not comfortable, come to like a seated something, like a Virasana, where maybe you're sitting on a block and you can stretch out your calves a little like this. And just have your hands open, your chest open, and just sit upright and allow yourself, while they twist in pain, you can be peaceful and meditative. Back leg is strong for those that aren't peaceful and meditative. Yeah, there's a leaning back. So you can now integrate that back leg if you want a little bit more jazz. Three more breaths. Stay with it. Look down, place both hands down. Feed your left leg back and through. If you're meditative, you're welcome to join us now. You know, flex the foot. So you're just in a three-legged down dog, and then look forward and land your left knee all the way forward and through for a half pigeon. So we come back, we meet together. And just reminding you, Lauren, if you need to come to a tabletop and reset, curl the right toes into the mat, slide your left knee towards your left wrist, and set up this way. Yeah. The block will probably need to go under your left hip. Do you ever do this one? Do you ever do this stretch? This may be a little bit more comfortable. So try it. It's like the top leg's in a Baddha Konasana, and the back leg is kind of bent like a half frog, which is not a posture I would try and put you in. You would never speak to me again. Good. And then your torso can kind of start to go towards these doors. So it's like you're on a little bit of an angle, but only if that feels good, or you just stay more upright. Stay with it. Good. Use the strength of your body. Start to come up. Swing the right leg around like this. Make a little tree with your legs. You may need to play with your splay. Right arm's going to come down. You're going to hook the big toe. If you feel like you can't reach, you don't have to hook. You can also slide your arm on a block. Left arm, flex your right foot real strong. And then the left arm's going to reach up. Maria, I like this. Your hand behind your head and lean back. And then as you do that, turn your right ribs towards Meredith. Flex your right foot strong and externally rotate your left thigh so it does not drop, it does not open, it stays down. There you go. Breathe. Your top arm can even go into a half bind behind your back. Yeah, feel that. Feel all the different ways that you can stay open in this pose. Your throat, your chest. Two more. Unravel up, come up nice and slow. Neutralize before you go on. Left hand behind you, fingertips face back. Good. So you're going to lift up and back. So slide your right leg a little bit more forward. The toes flex down towards the ground, and then you lift up this way. Yeah. So it's a back bend Yeah, turn your palm towards the brick. Turn it down. On your exhale breath, start to lower down. Come out very, very slow. Good. Neutralize. Bend your legs into a Baddha Konasana. You all have a block, so you're welcome to use it. Place it on a high setting. I like this setting. Feet are going to come up. Play with how far or how close they are to you. Inhale the breath, lift up, and then exhale. If you have it in you, you come and you bow forward. Now, feel the arches of your feet press together and feel your outer hips begin to lengthen and stretch. Yeah, once you get in here, you want to settle in a little more. You can feed your hands underneath and wrap them around like this, and then fold deeper. Perfect. Start to unravel. Now, what I'm going to offer to you here is to keep your legs like this and lay back into a Shavasana this way, because it's a little bit, if it doesn't feel good on low back, dump it and just extend the legs out. So start to lower yourself down. Yep. Yeah. And I'll let you know when we're about halfway through the Shavasana, if you just want to kind of kick the block out. So complete rest here. So if you're happy the way you are, just stay. If you want to feed the legs out, kind of a wide straight leg position, just do that slow and then drop deeper. Take a big breath in. Take a full exhale breath out. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give them a really big squeeze. And with your eyes shut, see if you can rock up slowly and come up nice and seated. Sit up nice and tall. This is my favorite part of the practice, when I know I'm done. Right. But mostly when you feel so much better, even if it's one of those classes where you had to back off of everything, you just feel like you have so much more space in your mind. Let the hands come to a prayer, bow your head for a moment. Capture that, hold on to it. Don't let it go. Lift the head, open the eyes. Namaste. Thank you, my in-person group. And thank you, Dara. I hope you have a great afternoon. We'll do this again.